Hi, my name is Terry Wilson. I'm broker owner of Wilson Realty, and I'd like to talk a little bit today about the listing process in North Carolina. When you go to list your property for sale with a real estate agent in North Carolina, one of the things that the listing agent will be required to do is present to you what's called a Working with Real Estate Agents brochure. That brochure explains how agency works in North Carolina. You're not required to sign that brochure, but I do ask that you do sign it simply to acknowledge that the agent did take you through the brochure, and so that we have a record that, in fact, the agent took you through the brochure. If the agent did not take you through the brochure, I would ask that you give me a call so that I can explain to them that they need to take you through the brochure. Assuming that you want to hire the agent, then you will complete what's called a listing agreement. And the listing agreement simply lays out the roles and responsibilities of all parties and creates an agency-client relationship between you and the agent. Understand that until you've hired the agent, you should not tell them anything you wouldn't want a buyer to know, because until you've hired them, they don't work for you. Once you have hired them, however, they will then put you into the MLS, which is a multiple listing service, and it's where we as real estate companies put our listings so that we all know what each other have for sale, and that helps the buyers, that helps the sellers. They will then set up showing time instructions for when people can see your home. You as the seller do have the right to put restrictions on those showings, but understand that the more restrictions you put on showings, the less likely buyers are to see your home. For example, if you say, I need 24-hour notice before I allow a showing, you may not get a lot of showings because those buyers may not want to wait 24 hours. They'll go look at a competitor of you. So you want to be careful about adding restrictions. But again, as the seller, you do have those rights. The buyer will then see your home. Assuming they like your home, they will make an offer. You can either accept the offer as written, you can reject the offer, or you can do what's called a counter offer. And your agent will take you through that. Now, understand that when your listing agent first sits down with you, they will provide to you a sample copy of the offer to purchase and contract. And I strongly encourage you to read that offer to purchase and contract, because you want to know what the terms and conditions of that contract are before you actually get a real live offer. Assuming you accept the offer, you and the buyer will then go under contract. At that point, the buyer will have what's called a due diligence period of time. During that period of time, they will do their inspections, they will do their appraisal, they will do whatever else they need to do to decide whether they want to purchase the home or not. There may or may not be a due diligence fee paid for that due diligence period of time. That is a negotiation between you and the buyer. Also, during that period of time, the buyer is going to ask you for repairs, potentially. And assuming they do ask you for repairs, again, you have a choice. You can reject and say, no, I don't want to do repairs, at which point the buyer can say, well, then fine, I don't want to buy the house. Or you can negotiate what repairs will be made, or you can say, yes, I will make all of the repairs. Understand, though, that while the buyer is in the due diligence period of time, even if you make the repairs, they are not required to go through with the contract because they paid for the right to walk away during the due diligence period of time. Assuming they stay in the transaction, however, then the next step will be to go to settlement. Understand that settlement is when you go to the attorney's office to sign all of the documents, conveying the property from you to the buyer. That's called settlement. However, you will still own the home even after you've signed all those documents. You will still own the home until the deed is recorded. And in North Carolina, closing constitutes deed recordation at the Register of Deeds down at the local government. So once the deed is recorded, then the buyer will officially own the home. However, until then, you will own the home. One of the things I would recommend you do to best protect your interests is to not cancel your homeowner's insurance policy until approximately 5 days after the deed is recorded. You want to make sure that in case there's a problem, that your homeowner's insurance policy is still in effect. It won't cost you any more money because when you cancel it, they'll back that cancellation up to the day that you had settlement. But it will make sure to protect you in the event that that recordation didn't go right for some reason. I have never seen it personally happen that way, but it could. And since it doesn't cost you anything more, it's a good idea to keep that protection in place. That's a quick introduction to the home selling process in North Carolina and what your rights and obligations are. I do have other videos out here on our site, and I strongly encourage you to read them where I go into more details on each one of these steps. So thank you for tuning in. I wish you the best of luck in your home sale. And I do appreciate you choosing Wilson Realty as your listing firm. Thank you very much.